If you are experiencing foundation issues, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Dr. Jon Segars, the Superintendent of Sylacauga City Board of Education, joins us this morning. And Dr. Segars, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning to you.
And a belated Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
Hey, I thought about you yesterday. We touched on a little bit this morning how the rain came in. And it was just about the time the schools let out.
I tell you, it always gets you at the wrong time, but bus drivers do a great job with that. We watch it closely, and I was listening on the radio yesterday just to the orchestration of getting those kids close to the house and taking care of them. So, bus drivers just as important as anybody else we have in our system. It's huge responsibility.
No doubt about it.
We love having them, and we love what they do.
Well, at least the rain's out of the area for a little while.
We hope so. We could use a little less.
The state report card came out some weeks ago, and you've had time to digest it, and you hear a lot of conversation about it. What are your thoughts on where the Sylacauga system is at this point?
Well, from a report card perspective, I'm happy, but I'm not satisfied. We can do better than that. We've got some strong schools, we've got some strong leaders, and we've made some gains in some good areas. High school jumped up a couple of points. As a system, we stayed the same at a B. But I think, we can place ourselves in that range of those A schools. We can get there.
What are some of the challenges that you saw there?
I tell you, one of them is what we call chronic absenteeism. The state has come up with a formula that says if a student misses 15 days, they get targeted as a chronic absenteer, which penalizes your score. 15 days is a little odd. The state may go to 18, but still, whether the absence is excused or unexcused, you still get penalized. So if you have a child that has a medical issue that has to miss some days, say they have surgery or something, you still get penalized. So those are some things we're going back and forth with the state about right there. But really, we want to focus on the academic side. You can argue absenteeism all day long, but academics is where we make our money, and that's where we want to keep the
Talk about the
pressure.
Academic success so far.
Academic, as far as a report card goes, academic success is measured in two areas. The first is achievement, which is a test score, a standardized test score at the beginning of the year. And then you have a growth category that measures where you were at the beginning of the year and then where that child got to by the end of the year. We do very good on growth. I mean, we're successful on growth at approaching that A mark. We do not do well at achievement. So we've got to work on those things and not preparing the student the year of, but preparing the student the year before.
How do we do that?
We focus on math and we focus on reading. We've spent the last 18 months with a strong math initiative through the Southern Region Education Board. We've got a math expert in our central office. We constantly train teachers how to teach math, even teachers that have been teaching math a long time. We review, we go back to the standards, we practice. We're about to do the same thing with reading with the Alabama Reading Initiative, which is about to get revitalized at the state level. So that means when I say revitalization, of course, that means more money coming to it. So we'll have lots of professional development this summer, focus on reading, and that will be more at the primary grades.
So how are we doing from the junior high, grammar school, all the way up through high school? We got a B.
We have a B.
Okay.
We have a B. And it's just like, when your children or grandchildren come home with a B on their report card,
I never got those, by the way.
Well, sometimes I was happy to get them.
Yeah.
But when children come home with a B on the report card, the parent can do two things, and they do. They look at it and say, well, that's good. You got a B on your report card. But then they think, how do you get an A? What is it you have to do to bring that grade up to an A? And of course, we do that as a school system too. What are the things we have to do? And we've decided focusing on math and reading right now are going to be the things that put us in that A category. And then you go into other things. I mean, there's a million ways you can go with it, but focusing on those basics. It's kind of like the beginning of football season. Back in the summer when you start practicing football, what do you focus on? You focus on those basics. You learn the basics, and then you can throw in some trick plays down the road. But basic reading and basic math will carry us into that A category.
Wow, fantastic, Dr. Jon Segars. our guest this morning, Superintendent of Sylacauga City Board of Education. You know, when I was in school, we didn't have the challenges that in the marketplace with technology and all this kind of stuff that we have today. And it would behoove us to prepare our children at a younger age before they get to senior high school, because the competition in the job market, in the professional world, is unbelievable.
And we've done a great job with providing those platforms, all sorts of computer devices that students, of course, like to use. They use them at home, but we want to try to take them from playing the game on the computer to using the computer for application in business or whatever they're going to do when they get out of high school. Of course, when they go to college, they're going to have to use it. But I can tell you, you can buy all the computers in the world. Nothing replaces that teacher in the classroom. You know,
we've got some great teachers too.
Golly, do we ever? They're wonderful. And I spend a lot of time in the classrooms. You and I have talked about that. Is my time in the classroom is just where I learn. And sometimes you walk in a classroom and the teacher looks at you and says, "Well, you know, what can I show you?" I'm like, "You can just teach. You teach and I'll listen and I'll learn something, and then I'll ask you the questions."
You walk in my classroom and say, "Uh-oh," but that's not how it is.
No, you know, and I tell every teacher that too. When I walk in, you don't even have to say hello to me. Just continue on with business. I'll try to stay out of the way of the students. Of course, when the students are in the first grade, they all want to come see who you are, the new guy in the classroom. So I tread on that lightly. But the high school students, the middle school students, when they see me, I mean, they think nothing different of it. They just keep going with their business, and the teacher does too, and that's the beauty of it.
The Board of Education, whether it's in Sylacauga, Alabama, or Talladega County Board of Education, or statewide, new opening of a sparkling brand new school in Athens, $59 million.
Right.
It's big dollars.
It is. It's big dollars. We have a budget of about $23 million a year. Sounds like a lot of money, and I wish I had $23 million over in the vault that we could use. But the reality is 85% of that goes to paying people. Salaries and benefits are massive. We got a pay raise last year, 2.5%. The state superintendent has talked about a possible pay raise from 3 to 4%, somewhere in that range this year. So, it's looking better and better to be a teacher, but it's long overdue. Teachers need that pay raise for us to stay competitive with every other market out there. And we look forward to increases in pay. Of course, it costs us money. We have some units that are funded by federal government, some that are funded by the state, some that I fund through our pocket. So when that pay raise hits, we also fund that pay raise. So it is a big business, and you got to watch that money all the time.
Well, the competitiveness that you talked about with retaining teachers and recruiting other teachers, that's paramount.
It is, and everybody's doing it. Everybody's trying to find a good math or science teacher right now. Everybody's trying to find a counselor or a foreign language teacher, and there are not that many out there. So we are in constant contact with the colleges and universities. We're even to the in some areas now where we are contacting former graduates of Sylacauga High School and talking to them about what they're doing in college and will they come back. So we're even looking 2, 3, 4 years down the road.
Well, good news is we do Star Student of the Month here, and a lot of the students from the earliest age up to seniors in high school, many of them want to give back to their community.
They do.
They want to be in the teaching field, and that's encouraging.
Well, and we've had a lot of discussions with city leaders too about what do we give these people to come back to Sylacauga? Is there housing available for them? Is there entertainment, restaurants, shopping, those kind of things? Is what can we do in this city to make people want to come here and not go somewhere else and teach? Because the school system will sell itself. The city's got to work to sell those other things, and we have those things here. Whether you look at our hospital, our library, our churches, we have it here in Sylacauga. We just have to show it off a little bit.
No doubt about it. Dr. Jon Segars, our guest this morning. Finally, just a couple of 3 months to graduation. Busy time of the year right now.
Yes, sir. Springtime gets real busy. We've got some huge competitions coming up. Matter of fact, we're going to have 300 students in our high school on Saturday for a math competition.
Yay.
That's big. We've never hosted it before, and it will consume the high school.
From all over the state?
All over. They're going to come from all over. We did Scholars Bowling with Tumpka last weekend. Of course, the county basketball tournament going on. Future Business Leaders of America and our health science students are in competition heading into the state level, and some of them have even qualified for the national competitions in San Antonio and Orlando this summer. So, yeah, it's competition season plus graduation.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And no doubt there's always an air in some circles of negativity of whatever I do or you do in leadership position as far as schools or broadcasting or whatever it may be. How do we stay above the fray?
Well, there's always those that'll be the naysayers that will look for the bad in anything. I was just listening to a group of people on the radio this morning that said, we're living in the best time this world has ever seen. Prosperity is at record highs. Healthcare is moving in the right direction. I think as humans, some of us tend to look for the bad. I like to look for the good. And I can tell you what, if you walk into elementary school this morning, you'll come out with a smile on your face because you see great things happening.
Fantastic. Dr. Jon Segars, our guest this morning, Sylacauga City School Superintendent. And Dr. Segars, always a pleasure. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
More Daybreak coming up right after this.